There is no independent health and well-being. Everything we seek to heal from in this life is an expression of places in which interdependence has not been possible. Interdependence, connection, produces health and well-being naturally. This is something I'm going to spend the rest of my life making the case for, and creating spaces in our culture where we can become interdependent and healing and well-being will be produced. And in this video, I'm going to start by just making the case for this, the basic principles of healing, and why I believe this is a very exciting time to be participating in life and to be supporting the health and well-being that is in our mutual interest, which is in our best interest. So we can start with a personal definition of trauma. Trauma is experiences that I hold in my nervous system to process in the future. And the reason that we do this is because the experience is overwhelming. So if I'm a child, for example, and I get overwhelmingly scared of something, if I can't tolerate the fear, if it's too much, too fast, too soon, I contract, I stop the movement of the energy through my nervous system, and I store it. And the intelligence of this is that I protect myself from being overwhelmed. And what healing means is that as I go through my life, I accumulate these pockets of energy, and they start to burden me. They affect my mental, emotional state, the way that I see the world, and my ability to navigate towards my life purpose and healthy relationships and all of this. So in healing, I seek to let go of the past so that I can see the present moment naturally and clearly, so that I'm not burdened by all this pain that I've been holding through my life. Now, another definition of trauma is not just experiences that's overwhelming to me, like fear or sadness. Trauma is also experience that can't be expressed and shared. It's places in which interrelation is not possible. So it's not just that I was afraid, it's that there was no one there who saw that I was afraid. There was no one to share that experience or who responded to my fear. And if you think about emotions, these emotions that we hold, they're not really just for us. The purpose of fear and sadness and joy isn't just for us to have this experience. It's information. It's how we communicate with the world. It's how we manage and work together as human beings. So as we go on our healing journey, we seek to let go of this energy. We can try our personal practice. We can learn how to relax and allow the past to arise and move through us. I just made a video about this, how to let go of the past. But at some point we also realize it's really helpful to tell people how we feel. Again, that's because the purpose of emotion is to communicate. So instead of just letting go of it, or I should say letting go of it by relaxing, I learned to let go of it by expressing it. You can think about this like emails. Imagine instead of storing pain in your body, imagine you just had a bunch of emails in your drafts folder that hadn't been sent out yet. Instead of trying to get rid of them, instead of trying to somehow drain them from your email box, you simply put in an email address and you sent them. You just allowed them to complete their mission. So instead of trying to get them to go away, you try to get them to go out into life. And this is what relational practice is. Relational practice is, yes, I hold the past because it's overwhelming, but also I hold the past because there was no place for it to go. And I pair these by you and I, or we sit together, and I feel what's arising for me and I express it to you. I'm really doing both of these things at the same time. I'm taking on the overwhelming nature of the experience by going slow, by regulating it, by helping me co-regulate it. But I'm also taking on the function of communication informing you. I'm sharing what it's like to be me. We are becoming interrelated. We are sharing the same experience. So we just step back from my healing journey or your healing journey, and just imagine the global collective consciousness as a single nervous system. I feel that it actually is. I experience this. So if you take all of these points of connection between you and I, between our neighbors, between our friends, we have a vast pool of interconnectedness. One big body, one big nervous system of relationship, of emotion being expressed, of thoughts and ideas being expressed, of physical relationships being creating. One big living organism. And in this field, the pain points in the body are the places in which mutual interdependence is not possible. So collectively speaking, my pain and your pain is a signal that somewhere in the collective body, mutual interdependence is not possible. This is very important information. So for you and I, at this point in human history, this may not be obvious, but my pain and your pain and the places in which we have conflict is having an impact on the collective. So my pain is not just for me or you. It's our challenges, the things that we need to heal from. They're not just personal. They're not just in our families. They are, but they are also having an impact on the well-being of the collective. So understanding the function of emotion and energy at this level is really important. The more that we can create connection, the more connection that we feel, the more well-being we are creating in the collective consciousness. So up until now, healing practices have really primarily focused on the first two levels, we could say. We call them levels. The first is there are healing practices and teachings that can help an individual heal, and it's very powerful and profound. There are also practices of interrelatedness, of connection, in which we can share an experience, regulate it together, and create a bridge between you and I. This is relational practice. And what's exciting, I believe, is that we have the possibility of creating larger fields of interrelatedness, collective fields of interrelatedness, that can hold a tremendous amount of energy and create a tremendous amount of well-being. I've seen these fields grow in the retreats that I've offered. I see these fields grow as we create more coherence in individuals and more relational capacity. So as the individual practices there, letting go and relaxing and allowing. And as groups of people come together and learn to relate, fields of energy, pools of energy start to form that become very coherent. And the collective stops being an idea and starts to be palpable in the fact that a group of people are sharing the felt sense of their interrelatedness. This field could be metaphorically compared to the internet. When I started with computers, we didn't have the internet. When I was a child, the first computers I had floppy disks and little games, and not much was possible. Computers were not very powerful. The programs were very limited, but the technology has advanced. Today, personal computers are vastly more powerful and useful than they were when I was a kid. But more importantly, a global infrastructure of interconnectedness and interrelatedness has been established. What this has opened up for me as an individual is that I use my computer not just for the hardware and the software on it. It is a doorway to information that we share together everywhere. I can go on Wikipedia or YouTube and Google, and I can draw from a pool of energy, which is much greater than my own personal computer or my own personal life. We've all invested in this together. That's how you're watching this video probably. We've all invested in this technology together. And the product is our access to information, our computing experience is far beyond what we could have done if we just sat at home in the 90s working on our personal computer. So how does this transfer to consciousness? So first, as you create fields of interrelatedness, pools of energy that are coherent, where people can feel their experience of being connected, we start to access energy well beyond the boundaries of our personal life. And the resonance, the felt sense of this induces well-being into our bodies. We become in alignment with a large field of well-being. Now, because these fields haven't really existed on our earth, this is kind of foreign to us culturally. We take independent action. If we want to do something good for ourselves or we want to do healing, we take action for ourselves. But when you experience these fields, when I experience these fields, I realize the best thing that I can do for myself is to participate in the generation of these fields. That would be like in 1997 if someone gave me access to the internet. It would really shift my perspective on what I want to do with my computer. I would realize, actually, to have the best computing experience, I'm going to want to support this project called the internet, because it's going to revolutionize the way I use computers and my access to information. So here's the case that I'm making. Here's the idea, the thing to get excited about. If we build really large fields of consciousness where people feel connected, where people have coherence, a connection to their own body, but can also feel related to other people in large fields, this will produce a tremendous amount of well-being for all of us. Our personal self-interest and the interest of the planet are aligned. Seeing and feeling other people, seeing and feeling other cultures, seeing and feeling the earth and what is happening globally is good for me. I don't have to leave my culture. I don't have to leave the world anymore to become well. By participating in culture, we can create something that's good for all of us. And the good that is created is so far beyond what any of us could do by ourselves. The good that is created in a coherent field, a shared experience, a large field of interrelatedness, a global field of interrelatedness, is so far beyond what we know. I've just had tastes of this so far in my life. And I can tell you, the consciousness is created when groups of people come together and these fields are created is so far beyond what I could do by myself. I'm still there, my personal capacity is still present, but in this experience I realize there is no independent health and well-being. This is the project. The project is to create the largest field of interrelatedness, of connection, that I can create in my lifetime. That's the best thing for me personally, and I believe that's the best thing for the world. I don't have to separate out those two. I don't have to imagine how I can get mine without you getting yours. I've created well-being through my personal practice. I've created well-being for myself in relational practice, and I believe we're on the cusp of a global understanding and a global practice which allows us to feel interrelated. So when I come to the end of these videos, I'm trying to think, what are the action steps? Well, the action steps first are definitely to continue to develop personal practice. The action step is definitely to learn how to relate to people, to recognize that the pain that you carry is really soothed and aided by being felt and seen. These are the two of the pillars of what I teach. But there is something more. There is a value, there's a tremendous value in us doing this together, beyond the personal level, beyond the people that we feel close to. There's a tremendous value in all of us doing this together at the same time in the same place. Because we are all together at the same time in the same place. And we can create the internet. We can create a tremendously large pool of energy and radically transform the lives of all beings. So that's why I am putting myself out on the internet, because we need a place to organize. We need a way for us to gather. We need to create a culture. And my channel and my work, I am like a lighthouse. I'm making my case that I want this culture to be here. I want to be a part of it because it's the most important and the most efficacious thing that I can recognize. So to that end, if this resonates with you, please work with me. Please participate in my content. Please share your life with me and the people that I work with. May our field be as big and interrelated as it possibly can be. May all beings be well. And may we know that we are not separate.